Here's your boy Ninja Spaghetti here, and welcome back to another video. Today, I wanted to try something new. So, we are going to review The Last of Us 2. Hopefully, these reviews go good, and I can make more in the future. So, without further ado, let's get started. So, I know that there are mixed feelings about this game, but today I'm going to try to be as positive as possible with this review. So let's start with the story. I'm going to say a small summary, because the full plot I found on Wiki was way too long, and I don't really feel like making my own, so here's a small summary. So 5 years later, after the first Last of Us game, players control two characters in a post-apocalyptic United States. Ellie, who sets out for revenge because Abby, a soldier who has been involved in conflict between a militia and a cult, has killed Joel. So Ellie sets out for revenge for Joel's death. So I haven't played this game, but I've seen multiple playthroughs of it, and I don't have the patience to play 10 hours of Abby, which is probably what brings this game down. But so I don't really have a good reason to give this review. I don't really have a good input, but here's how I feel about the story anyways. So, how I feel about the story. I can understand what they are going for with the ending. They want you to know by not killing Abby that Ellie has moved on and doesn't need revenge for Joel's death to find closure. She can find closure with her new family, but as the player, you don't feel closure. The way that Naughty Dog wants the game to be played and how it is played is completely opposite. They make you play as Abby for so long that they expect you to start to love the character and see that she's changing throughout the game. And she's gaining likable traits, but throughout the entirety of 10 hours of Abby, she's exactly the same character and has no good qualities, and not an ounce of humanity until the very end, when we find her tied up and she doesn't want to fight. But it's too late, because we spent the entire game hating her, and we don't care that she's changed. We don't care that she has a kid to take care of now. We want to kill her, and don't get that because Ellie lets her live. So we get that bittersweet feeling where we know Ellie is happy, but we're not satisfied. Now let's talk about one of the better parts of the game, the graphics. Now, the bittersweet ending is what drags this game down to a 3, but there are some things that bring this game's rating up. One thing is the graphics. The graphics of this game are phenomenal. I mean, you can just look from this picture and tell me that they're not. Like, why would you say they're not? Like, the way everything looks, the way everything moves is outstanding. Everything from rope physics to climbing, from the sunset in this photo near the end of the game when you're at the farmhouse, to the way the characters look. What makes this game? The Last of Us 2 is one of, or even the best looking games on PS4 that I've seen. There was no point in me watching anybody play this game, or even my friend, that I said these graphics suck, because I didn't. There was not even a point. Even when the screen was dark or it was at night, the game still looked amazing. I can sit here and tell you all day how good the game is, how good the game looks, but you can just see for yourself. Go play the game, look at the graphics. They are amazing. In fact, graphics alone give this rating 2 more points. So from a 3 to a 5. So, you can't talk about a video game without including the soundtrack. This soundtrack is probably my favorite part about this game. Every song I enjoyed. Some of my favorites were the song that Joel sings about Ellie near the beginning of the game, and one other one was it was optional, but when Ellie covers "Take on Me" by Aha, even the main theme, which returns from the first game, is great. My absolute favorite part to this game was where you can practice the guitar with Ellie at some points. So technically, the soundtrack is endless if you know how to play the right songs. I've seen a few videos of people playing songs like "Zombie" by the Cranberries and "Nothing Else Matters" by Metallica. The fact that you can do this makes up for the bittersweet ending, in my opinion. It also makes the game go from a 5 to a 6. So now the game is from an F, which is a failing grade, to a D, which is passing. Passing, but barely. So this is how the game could be better. How I believe the game should have went and should have ended. I believe the game could be better. And here's how. So what should have happened is you play the first part normally, but when you switch to Abby, you don't play 10 plus hours. You only play 2 to 3 hours. So what you do is you play like an hour or an hour and a half of backstory, like the part where you find out that Joel killed Abby's dad, and some other flashback story parts, and then you play a little catch up between the backstory parts, and you skip around catch up parts, like she's still moving while flashing back, and then you keep in the part where she finds the little kid, because that's important, and then along the way of the flashbacks and catching up, you give her some redeeming qualities and some signs of humanity, that she's changing and the kid is helping her change, so we have a reason not to want to kill her at the end, you know, so we have a reason to like her. Then when she catches up and beats up Dina, instead of the kid having to tell her to stop, she looks up and sees the kid crying, and then she stops because she doesn't want to kill Dina's baby. So then she leaves and says, like she normally does, "Don't let me see you again." So then after she leaves, the rest of the game plays out normally, but then at the end, when Ellie comes home, she comes home to Dina and the baby and Joel's brother, and Dina hugs her at the front door, and Ellie tells her that everything's going to be okay. So she goes upstairs, grabs Joel's guitar, everyone gathers on the porch. Ellie starts singing the song Joel sang for her at the beginning. And when she finishes the song, she starts singing it again. But this time, Dina, Joel's brother, starts singing with her. And then as this is going on, the baby's laughing in the background, and the camera goes off into the sunset, like in this photo, and the credits roll on the beautiful sunset. And the last line of the song is just Ellie and Joel singing at the same time. So that's how I think the game should have been, if you can imagine what I said. Yeah, I think it would be perfect for a type of game like this. And tell me what you would think in the comments. You know, if you happen to be watching this far, tell me what you think. So, my final rating. With the game as it is, including the soundtrack, the story, the gameplay, and the graphics, my final rating is a 6 out of 10, which is a D on the grading scale. So, it's not going to fail you, but it's going to hurt your grade at the end of the semester. There were little moments I liked, and there were big moments I hated, but overall, not a horrible game. But I would only recommend you play it once. And if you decide to play again, I would skip 10 hours of Abby. And if there was one word to describe this game, it would be bittersweet. But that's my rating of The Last of Us 2. I hope you enjoyed, and if you did, please hit the like button, and feel free to check out my channel, and if you do, subscribe. I'll catch you guys next time. Deuces. Have a saucy day.